Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to my channel and this mobility practice for the hips and the spine. If I have time for nothing else in my day, mobility is my go-to. So a quick 10 to 15 minutes, usually at the start of the day, as it helps get me set up and ready and moving. But sometimes it can also be equally as nice to do at the end of the day, especially if I've been sat for long periods of time. That said, I will incorporate it into any workout, any flow practices, whatever works for you really. But we're going to do a short 10 to 15 minute practice to get the hips and spine moving and grooving. And I invite you to explore along the way. If you want to stick with something because you're enjoying it, or you want to adapt something in a different way, please do that. Remember, it's your body, so your choice. And let's go hop on the mat and get started. We are going to start standing and we're going to incorporate a little bit of breath with the movement so we can find a bit of a rhythmic flow with this mobility practice. So we're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to gently draw over to one side, inhaling back to center and exhaling over to the other side. I'm going to do that a few times, so we might find that we have a little bit more depth as we start to do that, or we might be just taking it nice and slowly, especially if this is the first movement that we're doing in a day. Coming back to center, we're going to draw the arms up, and as we exhale, we're going to draw the elbows out to the side to lift the chest, so lift the gaze a little bit, so shoulders are going to draw back to allow the chest to open up and the low back coming into a little bit of extension. So inhale, draw the arms back up. Exhale, open up the chest. And just one more. And then take the arms all the way out to the sides. I'm going to turn to this side here, but we're going to soften the knees, draw the arms up, and then come all the way down into a bit of a forward fold. So knees nice and soft, or as soft as you want or need them to be. And just begin maybe with a wave from side to side, allowing the top body to relax off. So shake the head out a little bit here. And from here, we're going to come from forward fold into what we call halfway lifts. So we're extending out long through the spine, coming from flexion into extension. So pushing through into the feet, taking a breath in here. And as you exhale, you're going to bring the fingertips to shins or higher, lift the belly, extend long through the spine, lift the gaze. And then you're going to release all the way back down. So we're going to do that a couple more times. Lift, open, and extend. And just exploring the back line of the body. So again, sometimes we rush into having really straight legs, or we want straight legs with the fingertips down here. But we're looking to get that really beautiful extension line into the spine. To do that, we're going to have to lift the gaze, to roll the shoulders back. And we can create this really nice fluid, rhythmic movement and work on repetition. We might take the arms out behind us, sweep them back down. And then from here, you're going to bring the fingertips down. You're going to take the feet a little bit wider apart. And you're just going to come into a traveling yoga squats. So we're going to just spin from one side to the other. You might open the knee out. You might choose to take the arms behind you to bring a different element of twist for the mid-spine and the upper back and shoulder area. See if you can roll the shoulder out. That helps for some of the shapes we might do in a yoga practice as well, so that we don't end up drawing the shoulders up to the ears, but we're rolling them back and opening out and extending that top line. And come back to center. And from here, we're going to come into this squat shape up into those kind of forward fold shapes. So we're going to keep the feet nice and wide though. Maybe the heels touch down, maybe not. But we're going to start with the fingertips touching the earth and lift the hips, drawing up into this shape. And coming back down, maybe the heels lift as you come down, that's okay. And we're gonna do a few of these. So you might choose at some point to take the hands away from the earth and keep them lifted. You might lift and extend and just play with the movement. And you don't have to come really low into this. You might be coming into a higher squat. You control the depth of that movement. I'm just going to do one more, whatever you're working on. And then we're going to draw all the way down. And from here, we're just going to bring one foot in front of the other, hands to the knees. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the gaze. And as we exhale, hug in, round out through the upper back and shoulders. So again, extension and flexion through the spine, but a little bit of core activation. Maybe taking the arms up and drawing back on the sit bones a little bit so that the feet start to float. So inhale, draw forwards, exhale, squeeze. And then we can begin to find that rhythmic flow of movement. If you are really comfortable drawing the feet up, you can cross the ankles in the opposite direction. One thing we're looking to do there is maintain the stability of the low back. So only come as far into it as feels good for your spine. And you might pause here to take a moment at the top to lean into that kind of strength element. Or when you move, you might come up a little bit higher to get a little bit more expressive with your movements as the body begins to open up and find some more space. Come back to center. We're going to roll over now. So planting the hands down and drawing the feet back into a tabletop. If it feels good, we're going to tuck the toes, taking a small stretch into the plantar fascia of the feet. We're going to come up onto the knees. So we're going to increase our core activation with this mobility kind of camel wave. And we're going to, as we inhale, again, using the breath, we're going to draw back towards our heels. Exhale, tilt the pelvis and hug and lift. So kind of like a scooping in and up. So sweeping in and up through the body. And after a couple of times, maybe you might choose to incorporate the arms into this. So taking them back, crossing them over one another, opening up, circling out the arms. And now if you want to, you could again incorporate a little bit of a spinal twist. You can open out the arms to one side, draw them back round, find your center, come back, tilt, open out to the other side. But whether you choose to stay central or opening out, find out what works for you. And work with the breath a little bit so that it really does feel like the energy is coming from the inside out rather than the outside in. And maybe, if that feels comfortable, we can pop the hand onto the heel and just open out through the sideline of the body, work a little bit more extension, maybe a pause. And you could do the same on the opposite side if you are exploring. Or you can just keep that fluidity anywhere you like. Hopefully be feeling a little bit warmer now. And we're going to plant the hands down, just tap out the tops of the feet, cross the ankles and draw all the way back down onto the mat. So we're going to explore a little bit of a challenge before we come all the way down and wrap this practice up with our boat pulses from high boat up here, knees bent, down to a low boat, whatever that might be here, that might be here for you. Coming up, planting the feet and lifting finding that halfway lift. So we're combining the whole sequence, drawing it down, high boat, low boat, up, plant the feet, lift the hips, extend long through the spine. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow or how deep you're going. There's a lot of core activation. If you feel like maybe you want a little bit of momentum, you could roll back. If you're experimenting with planting that feet and finding a bit of takeoff. But this is a really good activation and support for the core, for the center, whilst opening out the spine and getting into the hips as well. Let's do a couple more wherever you are. And if you're still just getting used to standing up, you might also just use the hands to support you, remember. Or you could stick with high boat, low boat, and keep something else moving there. Okay, and then find a little bit of fluidity for the spine as we wrap this up. We're going to come down onto the mat for some bridge waves. So we're going to keep the feet close to the bottom. We're just going to lift the pelvis and float it back down. A small reset whenever we come back down to the earth is really beneficial. And from here, just take a breath in, lift the pelvis just a little bit, and exhale, release. And maybe again, lift and release. And you might choose to maybe just go a little bit higher. Just keep that chin lifted so you've got some nice healthy space between your neck and the earth beneath you. You might choose to take the arms up overhead and exhale, wave them back down again, continuing with that movement to just bring more space and more fluidity and energy into the body. But it's okay to take moments to pause as well and lean into that strength. So you might be here for an extra breath and come all the way back down. Maybe one more. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, release. Stay where you are for a moment. Take a breath in and then release all the way back down. Bring the knees towards your hands and just circle the knees in maybe opposite directions or not if that's a little bit too much of a brain teaser. You can take them in the same direction too. And just lean into any openness and space. And then from here, our final challenge to kind of move into the day, feet up towards the sky, fingertips up towards the sky. Take a breath in, shake it out. And then rock and roll it up, plant the feet, that last challenge of rising up so that we can finish where we started. I hope you enjoyed this practice. You can like, comment, or indeed subscribe to the channel so that I can keep sharing more practices with you. Take care, and I will see you next time.